Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we talk about everything financial literacy. And today we're going to be talking about business credit cards, how I applied for every one of them with every major institution, and I froze my credit so you don't have to. So in this video, we're going to cover every single major bank in the United States, and I'm going to be giving you which credit bureau they pull from in regards to their business credit cards. Now, I do want to preface this by saying some of these have regional pools and they do change depending on where you are. I'm in Nevada. If you do have any particular questions about your region, you may want to check the credit pools board. There is a website that you can use where people will actually put what credit pools that they got for cards in regards to their state, where they live. They also give you some data points. I did not include the data points on here because, again, it's very specific to only me. If you want to know my data points, I was somewhere between 750 to 780. That was my score. It would vary depending on utilization. It was always 10% or less, and I don't have any derogatory marks or late payments. And this is going to be for all three credit bureaus, because some of these will pull from Equifax, some of them will pull from TransUnion, Experian. We have one that pulls from all three. So please keep that in mind when you're looking at this list, and just double check always. And if you would like, you can always do a freeze first, then do a credit pull so that you can see. We also have videos on how to remove hard inquiries, as you know, and you can also remove hard inquiries when it comes to business credit cards. That's even if you get approved. So with that said, let's get started and talk about the first bank for today, and that is going to be US Bank. Now, for US Bank, I actually applied for the card that you see here on the screen, the Business Triple Cash card. With these cards, it does not matter which one that you're looking at. They all have the same exact credit pool. So for US Bank, they pull from TransUnion. One thing I do want to note, again, I live in Nevada, but the pool may change depending on where you are located. US Bank also pulled my Experian business credit report. They also look at your Experian, your Equifax business report. So with that being said, keep in mind that you can actually be denied for this card depending on what is on your business credit report. For example, if you have credit cards that are reporting to Experian or Equifax, and let's say you have a 0% APR card and you're using a high amount of balance, they can deny you because you have a high balance on those business credit cards. So with that being said, this may be one of the cards that maybe you want to actually get first. Currently, as recording this video, this is going to have the best APR, 0% APR promo that you can get. They have 18 months of 0% APR for one of the US Bank business credit cards. Again, that is to date. That may change depending on the time that you're watching this video, but as of right now, there is a promotion going on. You will not see any card longer than that one. So again, use this strategically. If you plan on doing a couple things, this may be one of the first cards you may get. So just keep that in mind as you're making your strategy in order to stack business credit cards and get business funding. The next card that we're going to be looking at is Bank of America. Now for Bank of America, they pull from TransUnion. That's going to be your TransUnion FICO 9 score. One other thing to note with Bank of America that I did see, they can deny you if you do not have an account with them. That is actually something that they put on the letter. So believe it or not, I applied for this with no bank account, anything at all. They actually listed that as one of the reasons why I was denied, because I didn't have any prior history with them in regards to checking accounts or savings accounts. So just keep that in mind. They can actually do that. One thing I did see, when you do get denied by them, they actually will offer you to open their secure card. So I have a video on that. If you wanted to look at the secure card option, even if you have bad credit, it actually gives you a comprehensive guide to getting a business credit card with Bank of America and getting introduced to them as a actual, new client for your business through the secure card option. So that is always something that you can do. So in regards to needing to have a high credit score, that is another backdoor way that you can get the Bank of America business credit card. But just be aware that they will be looking at your TransUnion score, and the better the relationship with this particular institution, the more likely you are to get an approval. All right. So let's take a look at the next bank, and that's going to be Chase. So the Chase business credit cards, they pull from Experian primarily. No matter how I looked at it, no matter where, the state, that was primarily where they pull from. For me personally, they pulled from Experian, and I do have a Chase Inc. card, so it wasn't just a soft pull for them or a freeze pull. This was a hard pull that I had, and I removed it. But Chase business credit cards, they pull mainly from Experian. That's according to customer service. However, they can also pull from TransUnion or Equifax. Unfortunately, there's no way to know beforehand which bureau they will use because the selection criteria is not disclosed by Chase. So you want to make sure that, with this being said, I would leave your Experian open. I would freeze the other two. Just in case you may be kind of weary, maybe you don't know for where you are, just to be safe, you can do that. Again, we have options to remove them, but we want to save time. We don't want to have to do that if it's not necessary. So that is another way of doing it. If you want a higher limit with Chase, I highly, highly recommend you open a business checking account and savings account with them before you apply for the credit card. If you can wait 90 days, make small deposits, please do so. If you do not want to wait, that is okay. I would say at least open the business account for the checking and the savings, and then make a small deposit of whatever you want to make and apply for a credit card after that. That will more likely increase your chance of getting a higher limit. That way you're not going to be getting a card with hopefully not 0% APR, but such a low limit that it really won't suit your needs, and then have to wait months and months and months in order to increase your limit. That happened with me. I don't want to see that happen with you. So please bear that in mind. The next bank that we're looking at is Citibank business credit cards. I actually have a personal account with Citibank that I've had with for many years. Now they do a hard pull from Experian, but oddly enough, they also have a soft pull from Equifax. And I've seen reports that people have gotten the business credit cards. The one I applied for was the A Advantage Business Citibank credit card, and the other one is the Costco card. So they have had Equifax soft pulls with no hard pull from Experian. And it seems to vary where you are. Now, for me personally, when I applied for this card, it was a double pull, soft Equifax, hard Experian. But when I actually tried to freeze my Experian score, they did stop me on the application and gave me an actual timer to unfreeze it and then apply again. So it was actually necessary in order to get this card for me to unfreeze my Experian report. Now, with other people who have applied for these particular cards, to the contrary, they were able to get them with only a soft pull from Equifax. It seems to vary. So here's what I would suggest when dealing with Citibank. I would suggest that you go ahead, freeze Experian, see if you can get away with a soft pull from Equifax. Worst case, if they tell you that you cannot, then you can unfreeze it, continue the application, and then you'll still be able to get the card if you're approved, or if not, if you're denied, they'll send you a letter in the mail letting you know the reason. Really, pay attention to the letters that you get if you're denied. I know when you get denied, it's a bummer, but the letters really do tell you exactly what you need to do. There's a few cards that I've gotten where I got denied first, got a letter, and they told me exactly the reason why I made the adjustment and got approved. There's a few cards like that. So this card, I know I can get approved for now, not really looking for any travel cards, and the limit on this card from what I could actually look at wasn't going to be relatively high. And I no longer have a business account with Citibank. I did for my first business. I didn't really like it. I probably won't use them. And for their cards, I don't see myself needing them for anything at this point in time. Maybe if I just need extra credit and I just want something, maybe I'll get it, but not looking at getting that one anytime soon. All right, the next card on our list is going to be from Wells Fargo. It's going to be the Signify Business Credit Card. This is a relatively new credit card. I have a separate video coming out all about this card, the process of getting it, so be on the lookout for that. This card will pull from Experian. Here is one thing that you need to note, and the reason why I was denied 2 times for this card, and I did a hard pull for this one, so I know this one very well. If you do not have a Wells Fargo account open for 90 days, you will automatically be denied for this card if you're applying online. So here's the thing about the Wells Fargo card. You really do need to have a checking account and savings. There's really no way around that. Now, if you want to apply for this card in one day and you don't have an account with Wells Fargo at this time, you will have to open a checking and a savings. You'll make a deposit of $50, $25 each account. That day, you can apply with the banker in the branch and apply for this card. If you do not apply for this card with the banker at the branch, you will have to wait 90 days in order to apply for this card online. Now, with that being said, this may change, but currently right now, if you try to do it even on the website, you can actually read it before you apply for the card. So that is something to note. And that is also the reason why I was denied so many times for this card. I just did not read it and do enough research. It was a fairly new card. There really wasn't too many resources out there. So I'm happy to be able to tell you this today. So if you've ever gotten this card, or applied for this card, and you've been denied, and when you get denied, you'll notice they don't do a hard inquiry. That is the reason why. Open the account for 90 days, and then you will be able to apply online, or go into your local Wells Fargo branch and you will be able to get this card. I would say you would want to at least have a 720 for your credit score, and your utilization needs to be below 10%. Needs to be below 10%. It has to be. Make sure. No new inquiries either. This one is inquiry sensitive. When I got my first denial letter, actually doing a hard pull, they told me I had too many recent inquiries, too many recent accounts, and that my utilization was too high. Below 10%, no new accounts in the last 60 days, personal accounts, and then no recent inquiries in the past 60 days. Make sure of that. 720 credit score. You will be able to get this card. If you start off with depositing nothing into the account, you'll probably get approved for $5,000. If you make some deposits and you have a good credit score, you're probably looking at anywhere between $10,000 to potentially $20,000 for this card for an initial starting line. Could be even more, but I would say $20,000 is probably that sweet spot where you will start. The next card that we're looking at is going to be the GM Marcus Business Credit Card. This card pulls from Equifax on the business side. It is a soft pull. Goldman Sachs will also be checking your Experian business credit profile as well as your Equifax business credit profile. Now, for some of you, if you do not have that profile, they may deny you. When I first got this card, that wasn't a problem, but I noticed for other people, when I had tried to help them do this in their coachings, the denial reason was that they could not locate their business. So with that being said, I would make sure to have a profile established for your business, or you can potentially be denied for this card. Other than that, Equifax, I would say have a 700 score at the very least, no recent inquiries, and you should be good to go in getting approved for this card. Again, soft inquiry. They let you know right away if you're approved or not, and you can always make adjustments in the future. Main one that I keep seeing if you're denied is that they cannot find your business. Establish that, get your business credit profile going, and you should have no issues getting this card as long as you have a decent Equifax score. Okay. Now, PNC business credit cards. This is going to be the first credit card on our list that is a regional bank. They pull from Experian. Now, you do have to be in Alabama, Arizona, California, Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. PNC also has branches in Washington, D.C. Now, with that being said, I'm in Nevada. I applied for this card. when you do apply for it online, you will notice that they don't even have an option to put Nevada. I did it anyway, just to do the application. Of course, I was denied. I was denied because they could not verify my identity. I believe from what I got from customer service, now you may have to call them and verify that even if you do not live in a state where PNC has a location, if you go into a branch, you can do a credit card application. Again, that's what I was told, but I'm not 100% sure that that is accurate. I believe you do have to reside in one of those states, but apparently you don't need to have a business that was established in one of these states to open a checking account and savings account, because I have one currently and I did my PNC application online and it was no problems establishing the account, even with having a business in Nevada. So to me, that would give some credence to maybe that having, some validity. I'm not really sure. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. When I do travel in the next few months, I will probably go into a branch and test out this theory. So I'm leaving my account open in the meantime to perhaps see if that's something that can be done. So maybe if you take a road trip really quick and you go into one of those branches, you just so happen to see one, you can still begin to establish a relationship with PNC, go into a branch, and then have a banker put in an application for you. Next bank on our list is Truist business credit cards. And Truist, same thing as PNC, is a regional bank. I was able to set up an account with them online as well. They do pull from Equifax, and the Truist operations are in the following states: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and West Virginia. They also have branches in Washington, D.C. All right. So you will want to keep this in mind when you're looking at starting an account with Truist. Just also double check these branches, because this information I did pull from Google. Sometimes I've seen where it is wrong. So please double check it. Make sure. I double checked it. That's what it stated, but I have seen these things change in real time. So just always check. Other than that, they do pull from Equifax. I didn't see any other information in regards to why you would be denied, except for with me, like PNC, they're not able to verify my identity, more than likely because the information I put did not match up with my actual address. I don't know if you can go into a branch and do this. And from what I got from customer service, you cannot. Now, again, if things change, verify, check with them. You can also call. But as far as I can see, you do have to live in one of these states in order to get one of these credit cards. You do have to. It seems like there's no exception. Again, you can call, verify. If things change, leave a comment below and just let us know. That way everyone's aware that, maybe this is something that needs to be updated, and be aware that you can get this card even if you do not live in one of these states. A bank that I don't hear most people talk about, but it is TD Bank, and the TD business credit card pulls from Experian. Again, another regional bank. It's in Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Maine, Maryland, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Vermont, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., and Massachusetts. I missed that one. Now, with this particular one, I really don't have many data points. All I know is that you can't create an account online if you actually do not live in one of those states. But I was able to use a VPN so I could test it out to see if I was able to do this with the VPN. At the very least, it looks like you can trick your location for the computer to where you can see where they pull from. So Experian's going to be the place where your hard pull would be. I don't know any data points or criteria that I could give for credit score, but I would believe as long as you're in the 700 range, same thing, no recent accounts, clean up the inquiries, and utilization low. Of course, no derogatory marks, no late payments, and you should be fine to get this card. Now, Capital One business credit cards, they are the only bank on this list that pulls from all three bureaus. They pull from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. They did a 3 pull for me. Capital One business credit cards, they report to your personal credit report, making this one of the least favorable options in terms of credit cards. However, here's one thing that I can say. If you have less than stellar credit, I have seen people with charge-offs and derogatory marks actually get qualified for their business credit cards. Now, the reason why I think that is the same reason why you can have poor credit and still get approved for their other card options. They do have a subprime lending for the business side, but of course, it's on your personal credit, which for most of us will probably defeat the purpose. Without having a 0% APR promo and probably not going to have the highest limit, on top of it reporting to your personal credit, it's not really the most advantage-friendly business credit card. But if you were looking for an option to maybe start just building business credit, this is one I can say you can try to get with bad credit and see what you can get as far as like a Spark or something of that nature. Not the Venture X Business per se, but one of the other ones you can try. Now, the last bank on our list is going to be American Express. Their business credit cards, of course, most of us already know, they pull from Experian. Now, Amex business credit cards pull from Experian. If you want to get an idea if you'll be approved or not, you can use the pre-approval option on the personal side. When I was first looking at these credit cards to see if I would get approved, I was a little nervous. So instead of just jumping at it, even though I know I can get the hard inquiry removed, I tried to see if I would qualify for their personal cards, and I did, which was awesome. Now, since I saw that and I did qualify, it gave me the push that I needed to actually go and do the application for the business one, which then, of course, I was approved. So this is a really great maybe trick that you can try. Keep in mind, American Express does keep track of every time you're approved or denied, and it'll be on there. I don't know if that will lend to whether or not you get approved or denied in the future, but just be aware that they can actually see every single time. So I would maybe try this the first time if you're a little nervous and you just want to maybe attempt it just to see what's going to happen. If you get approved on the personal, there's a great chance that you'll get approved on the business side. All right. No guarantees, though. Now, this is the end of our list, and it is 11 banks that we went over. And these are all the places that they pull from guaranteed for the business credit cards. Again, I just want to say it one more time in case people skip the intro. Depending on where you live, these credit pools can potentially be regional. They can be regional. I would use this as a reference to give you an idea of where they pull from. Some of them, no matter where you look at, a majority of the information is consistent. But then some of them, I've seen where it has changed. So it just varies. You want to make sure you do your own research. Check that credit pools board. That is a really good place to make sure that all this information is accurate in your region or your particular state. And then one last thing that I want to show you, just so that you are aware, these are all the largest banks in the United States. And I just want to show you that we went over all of them. Okay. So we went over JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs. We went over US Bank Corp. We went over PNC. We went over Truist. We went over TD. We went over Capital One. Some banks that we didn't get to is, and we also went over American Express. We didn't get to BMO. I didn't do First Citizens. I have a short video on that one, which I should be releasing in the future. And then there's some other ones like Key Corp, Synchrony, a few other ones. And there are some other credit cards, of course, with other institutions. If you want more, I can put it in a separate video for some of these other ones. You know, SoFi, and as I'm scrolling down and you're seeing all of these, we're getting to almost the 100th largest bank, which is right here. So I just wanted you to be aware that those credit pools that you're looking at now are definitely going to cover a majority of the largest financial institutions, which is going to be more than likely the places you will start first. And now you have an idea of where all these banks actually pull from, and you can now make a strategy based off of your strongest credit bureau, which cards you should get first. So hopefully this was a piece of valuable information, a piece of valuable content, and it has helped you in some way, form, or fashion. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate if you stuck all the way through the end. Thank you so much. Please like this video for the YouTube algorithm, comment and subscribe. All of this does help. It does help my channel grow. And usually I never really ask for that, but please keep it pushing. I so much greatly appreciate you guys. And with nothing else left to say, you have a wonderful day, and thank you again.